Y'all know what's going on. It's time for another episode of Doing Time with Joe, and welcome back to the Doing Time with Joe support group. We're going to be in our final segment of this session. But when we left, I was talking to Sean about his reluctance, in my opinion, his reluctance to acknowledge or even say how it made him feel. But he had something he wanted to say. But go ahead, Sean.
Yeah, it's my thought. It's like, yeah, I do need to acknowledge my emotions and how I feel about things, right? But where I think where I was reluctant was because I was going through verses in my mind. It's like, I don't want to give them the power over me, right? I don't want to give them that. Oh, they got you all mad. They got you all pissed off. I don't. It's real. I didn't want to give them that authority over me, and that's where I'm at, right? I don't want to secede my mental state, my peace, where I would say my shalom, wholeness, togetherness, all that. I didn't want to cede that to them. It's not theirs to take. It's mine to give. And I don't want to give it. I'm learning not to give it.
So, I don't want to challenge what it is that you say you believe. But I want to ask everybody, do you think that by not acknowledging a problem or an issue, let's say issue, you think by not acknowledging an issue that you're not giving power away, or are you giving the power away by not acknowledging? Because that's almost like ignoring what's going on. Which one do you think it is?
Yeah, I receive that. I completely do. I'm not denying that I feel that way.
You just won't acknowledge it.
Well, at some point you have to acknowledge it, or you won't be able to deal with it, or you won't be able to process that.
But wait a minute. Okay, if that's true,
it is true.
So now you're backtracking because you just said a few seconds.
I still think it's because I'm really trying to learn, and I'm trying to get out of these old footprints that I'm walking in, right?
Yeah.
And like Brother Phil said, we have, and you said, Joe, we have to retrain our mind. If we don't, if we don't at least acknowledge how it affects us, we'll never be able to.
You cannot deal with it.
Yeah, you won't be able to deal with it. You'll have scars for it. Your next action is going to be a little twisted now because there's something going on in you that's not fixed.
Okay.
So now your engine's not going to run right.
Yeah.
And it's just going to get worse all the way down to the fact that you just dropped the transmission down the road down there. Yeah. Now you messed up for real. Now you're not going to
We're talking now, and like I say, in this environment that we're in, we're gonna act out on somebody else, our cellie, the officer, so on and so forth. But let's get to the last part of this, right? I want to really get some input from y'all on this, right? I was in a conversation earlier today with another inmate, and the inmate was talking to an officer, and they were talking about, something about how people are, particularly men today, are, insecure and all this and that. Right? This was a female that he was talking to, so he said, "Let me ask my friend," and I had been listening to what they were saying, but it's not my conversation, so I didn't say anything about it. But when they asked me, it was like, well, why is it that so many men today are insecure and all of these types of things, right? And it makes me think of, the response that I gave makes me think of this, right? This situation that we're talking about. Not to say that people are insecure, but the response that I gave was this. I said, I think that a lot of men didn't have people that, could teach them, guide them and all this and that so they could really learn how to coexist in a relationship. And after that, which that has nothing to do with what we're talking about, but after that, it hit me that I said, what you have to do, and I was saying to the female, what you have to do is learn to speak to the pain and not the situation, right? So when I said that, she said, what do you mean? And then by then they said it was call out. I said, look, I got to go out. We can pick this up another time. I'm gone, right? Because I'm not going to get stuck in the building, you feel me? But it made me think of that as an answer. So when we are dealing with whatever situations we're dealing with, right? Do you think, I'm talking about reflect back now. Do you think if that doctor or the nurse or the inmate or whoever it is that's causing you whatever issue that they're causing you to feel, right? Once you acknowledge what you're feeling, right? Do you think that you could speak to the pain that they're exhibiting and not the issue? Like if they disrespect you, right? They call you, you know what it is in here. You call anybody the B word, the snitch word, and all this and that. You say any of those types of things in here, we got a problem, right? We agree on that?
Ding, ding,
Yeah, ring the bell. You feel me? So when a person says that, like, do you think that you could find it in you to respond to the pain that that person is feeling and not what that person said to you?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. What do you think about that, Kevin?
I think so.
You think so?
Me personally, I've been called a B word.
Okay, so now, let me ask you this question. What pain do you think was behind what that person said to you? What do you think that came from?
It wasn't no pain.
Now, for them, not you, for them.
For them, I guess it came about, for the individual, I can't speak on what, at that moment, what he was feeling or what was going through his mind, because...
Okay, let me do this. Let me set the stage a little better. Let me set the stage a little better. For the sake of the conversation, we're going to assume that the individual that called you out of your name came from a broken family, gang member, drug dealer, drug addict, all of these types of things in society that traumatizes us to no end, right? We're going to assume that that person had all of that in his background and you knew it, right? And this person acted out in all of his interactions with people, right? Now, he disrespects you or anybody in here. And it's because of that pain that he's been through, that trauma that he suffered, right? Give me an example of what you think, each one of y'all, what you think of how you can speak to his pain and not what he said to you.
I'm sure there's a good level of insecurity there. I would say it's an insecurity on their part.
Now, we stipulate that. So how do you speak to that? How do you, in the moment when he's like, yeah, Sean, you open, and he say all this and that, right? How do you speak to that pain? Not analyze it. You already know what it is. How do you speak to it?
I can tell you exactly what I told one other person when that happened. I
What's
told
that?
him, I'm really sorry that you feel that way. That's what I said. He was dumbfounded. He didn't say nothing else.
I personally, when he called me the B word, I personally looked at him. I said, everything's going to be all right. So I went in my room. I sat on my bed, thought about it. I said, give him time to calm down. Then go back to him like a man and talk to him. And that's exactly what happened. Because if I would have responded to what he called me, we both would have been in the hole. My position as a mentor would have been stripped away from me. The people who look up to me were like, wow, Mr. Pickett, we never thought you would act like that. But the way I handled that situation, I got praise for it. Because after he calmed down, after my anger calmed down, then I stepped to him and talked to him like a man. And guess what? Me and him became very good friends.
What about you, Corey?
Man, we getting it up.
Go get it up. That's
We getting it
honest.
up.
That's honest.
No, this is...
Tell me why you would want to do that.
Because-
That's honest though, but I want to...
Because in hell, you don't show weakness. If you let this man call you that, then everybody's going to look at you like that. That's the way I've been raised, that's the way I've been brought up, and that's the way it's been. You cannot show weakness in here. There's no weakness.
Okay. Then before we get to you, let's deal with that. When Phil was talking earlier, right, and he was laying out his scenario and he hid behind the gang members, right? I'm not saying it in a demeaning way.
Yes, you are.
Well,
A little bit, yeah.
But you strong enough. You
Yeah, I
strong
can
because
They know me. I'm straight.
whatever.
Cool.
You all right there.
Yeah.
That's what's up. What he was doing, and I'm not trying to be, critical of you, but what he was doing, no doubt. But what he was doing can also be compared to what you just said. And let me explain. If we on a subconscious level, like I said earlier, right? If we on a subconscious level give in to how we've been conditioned, what you're talking about with the brain, right? If we give in to that, because you said you can't do that in here.
No.
You can't do that in this environment. That's how you've been conditioned, and that's how all of them have been conditioned, right? That's how all of them have been conditioned, right? And if we keep on feeding the beast, guess what the result is going to be?
But I promise you this, I bet you he won't come at me like that again.
And he probably won't, but what will happen is the response that KP got by responding and then getting praised for it, what happens in that situation is that now you put hands on him, guess what happens the next time that he has a situation?
look, his pain is not my responsibility. It's not. Look, I understand. We all have pain. All of us.
Gotcha.
We all have
That's
crushing
honest.
pain.
That's honest.
But what he's going through is on him. If he wants to lash out, that's fine.
That's
but
honest.
you're not going to lash out. I'm not going to be no man's whipping post. I'm not.
That's
you know what I
honest.
mean?
That's honest.
And you want to come? I mean, hey, I've been in here a long time, and I have not got on my knees once, and that ain't never
That's
going to
real.
happen.
That's real. That's real. You in survival mode.
And you've got to be.
Just like Joe said, sometimes we was programmed as coming up to not allow nobody to disrespect us in prison. I went to prison at 17 years old. Back then, that shit wouldn't happen. You know, I was affiliated, and all this stuff wouldn't happen. He was affiliated, you know, at this time. I just went into retirement at this time at age 35. You know, but it was just that after I went to retirement, I started changing my mind frame to become someone different. And at this moment when he disrespected me like that, I'm this different person. I know how to handle situations better than I used to back then. So what he's talking about over here, how he was handling the situation, he's still programmed to do that. His mind have not changed. I changed my mind. My mind, my way of thinking, my way of acting, my way of speaking, everything. I changed it, you know? And Miss Mathis, who was one of my mentors, she praised me about it. It's South Central, they parts bid. You got 128 guys.
So you're telling me that you didn't get him up because you didn't want to lose your position?
No, it's not the position. It's the way I changed my way of thinking.
No, I know, but you said if you fought him, you'd lost your mentorship, you'd have lost everything.
Everything that I stand for.
Right, but that's the stuff they've given you in here. That mentorship.
No. Everything that I stand for as a man, everything that I worked so hard for to obtain as a different person than I used to be. My mind frame has changed from the way I used to think. Someone called me a name, okay, I'm either stick you or I'm gonna catch you off guard and put a rope around your neck and string you out. And that was it. That's what I was thinking. You know, that's the stuff that we grew up on in our neighborhood. You know, stuff like that. A man gotta step outside his norm sometimes. This shit get old. It get old. So
Someone needs to be brave enough to step up and stop that cycle.
Well,
I stopped my own cycle.
Yes,
that's the
you
point.
gotta stop the
I stopped
cycle.
the cycle for myself.
You're responsible for you.
That's right.
The question becomes, the larger question becomes, who determines your moral compass for you? Who does that? Do you determine your moral compass? Do your parents, your upbringing determine your moral compass? Or does this environment? Which one is it? So we know what yours is. You hiding behind the game.
Listen, you took it all wrong.
No,
And they
no,
know who I am. They know. You know what I'm saying? They already know what's up.
They know what's up, right? Yeah, well, go ahead. Go ahead, though.
What I've learned, and I guess this is one of the biggest things that I struggle with, is I refuse to allow prison to change me or change who I was coming into prison and my moral compasses coming into prison and all of those good things and being able to function as a productive citizen out there where I refuse to allow prison to do that. But I have to acknowledge prison is going to do that. Any new environment is going to change you. You're going to have to let some things go. And you're going to have to see some things differently than, I'm in a cell and I'm having a conversation with a guy. And he said, Phil, all you do is want to argue with people. You know, I haven't spoke to that man in 4 months and we sleep literally 8 feet away.
Why is that?
I haven't spoken to him in 4 months. I mean, we pass each other. Like, I have no idea why. But I feel comfortable not having to defend the fact that, man, I don't argue. To me, if you telling, I didn't used to be this way before. You know, I would go into, why you say I'm arguing? Why, we just said, okay. All I do is argue. I took that as a statement of disrespect.
He offended you, didn't he?
Man, with those a disrespect, that felt like disrespect. Forget the B word. I felt disrespected that you looked at me, and said,
How dare you?
How dare you? all you do is argue. And I haven't spoken to this man in 4 months.
No, you go ahead.
Why not just ask him what made him say that?
Because I don't care.
Does he not know who you hang out with?
You're a man. You're a human being. You have the right to ask.
I don't care what made him say it. You said it. You disrespected
So
me.
you just take that what he said.
And because you said
something
that,
in and left it at that.
you don't deserve for me to
And
talk.
you harbor that.
And
in
now we're at odds, enemies. I mean,
And you
and I
that.
feel. Here's the thing about it. I don't even feel bad about it. That's how I know this place has changed me. That's why last week with me opening up, I felt like I was getting a piece of me back because the man didn't even do nothing but say. He could have. I don't even know if he was joking or not. But it was the fact that he said, all you do is argue. We didn't get to know B word. We didn't get to none of that.
May I?
Yeah.
When you when a person receives offense, right? I'm talking about in that split millisecond when you receive offense, it cuts you off from getting what it was that the Most High wanted you to get out of it, right? And that your heart is hardened towards Him, and you're gonna stick that out. Because don't take this the wrong way. I know we joke a lot, but do not take this the wrong way. Okay?
I'm probably gonna take it the wrong way. When you line it up, say don't take it the wrong
And
way.
you gonna probably
you
take
mean
it the wrong
take
way.
it the wrong way. So go ahead and say it.
Because
so
it's gonna be something. You know, that's the servant master dynamic, right? Right? You know what I'm talking about?
Joe.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I get it.
You're not higher than the master, man. If the master, we're talking about Yahshua.
Mm-hmm.
If the master forgives, right? Then who are you to not? Now ponder that.
But here's the revelation.
Okay, give it to me.
Here's what happened.
Give it to me.
I deal with a dude, and he said, "Phil, can you get him this message?" Now I'm already knowing I ain't spoke to this man in 4 months.
It's been a good 4 months.
I mean, maybe even longer. And he said, "Man, tell him my money hit, so his money hit."
Oh,
And I'm like, it's
now
late
we
at
getting all
night.
in with all y'all shenanigans. It's all y'all
It's
shenanigans.
late at night, you know what I'm saying? It's lockdown. We done came out for the second count. It's just me and him out, but I deal with him. He's straight, you know what I'm saying? He one that, you know, I'm with. So I can't not say get a message because me and him got a relationship. But I don't want to get dude the message because I ain't said nothing to you in 4 months. So my first message to you, and as I'm walking up to the cell, it's like a whole conversation going on. If you look at me wrong, I ain't gonna tell you, I might really go off and unleash what I've been wanting to say. So I opened the door. I said, "Hey man, homeboy said his money hit, so your money hit." And he don't even acknowledge me. He just turns around and gives a thumb up. And I had to lay there in the bed like, man, this dude didn't even say nothing to me, no thank you or nothing, whatever.
If he had been giving you what you wanted, you don't want to talk for 4 months, and
You
then when
call-
he do
Man,
that,
I just gave
but
him
let me show you
something.
But let me show, because I gotta say this. The same way you were hiding behind the gang members, the same way you said you still in hype mode when it comes to somebody calling you out of your name, you had no problem in giving him I'm assuming a lot here, okay? And we ain't gonna get into the details, but I'm assuming a lot. You had no problem giving him a message that was probably based off of some destruction. You understand what I'm talking about? Right? You had no problem in doing that. But you had a problem in exploring what it was that he meant so that you can grow from it. You feel like, wait a minute, hold up. And that's what I'm saying by that brainwashing, that your synaptic nerves done locked in this old thing where you really, all you just did was participate in your own demise. Break that thing down, man.
No, I did have a problem talking to him.
No, but you did it. But you did it.
But the only reason I did it is because of the guy who gave the message. I deal with him.
And that message,
he don't know me and dude don't.
I got you.
But you could have made
But
that
you
known
had
to him.
no, you could have.
I could have.
And thank you for that. But you had no problem in doing it because you messed with that dude. It was something negative. I'm assuming. I'm assuming a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But you gonna
I'm assuming a lot. But you had no problem dabbling in the negative. You had no problem in doing it. And what I'm saying in that is that is part of how you participated in your own oppression. You participated in your own demise.
What if it was positive? I don't know.
I said I'm assuming a lot because of the environment that we're in, and I ain't stupid. So we ain't even gonna play that game. You feel what I'm talking about? Yeah, y'all know what I'm talking about out there. We were talking about money hit and all this and that. We ain't gonna get into those details.
No,
You never know.
Everybody knows what you're talking about.
Absolutely right. Absolutely
I have
right.
a scenario I like to share real quick that.
Yeah, come on, y'all.
That it's this one guy in my unit. You speak to me all the time. We have conversations all the time. All of a sudden, they stop. One day I walked past, spoke to him. Hey, what's up, bro? They speak back. Spoke to him again. They speak back. Okay. I tell my old lady, I said, you know what? I don't know what I did to this guy, but I done spoke to him twice. He didn't speak back, so I'm not going to speak to him no more. She said, what did you say to him? I said, I don't know. But he's not man enough to come to me and tell me why. She said, well, why don't you step to him and ask him? I said, you think I should do that? My old lady said, yeah, they'll go ask him why he don't speak to you no more. I said, you know what? That'd be the manly thing to do, the rightful thing to do. So when I got him by himself and I asked why, you don't speak to me no more. Something he overheard me and my old lady talking about. So you eavesdrop into conversations now. You know, of course it was a racial thing that he heard. So you eavesdrop to me and my old lady conversation about some stuff that we talking about. You know, you could have came to me like a man and talked to me about it instead of just stop talking to me. We don't speak at all anymore now. Period. Just like that. Because, I mean, I don't mind talking to the guy. I don't mind talking to anybody, but he the one stopped speaking to me because something he overheard. Me talking to my old lady about it.
But again, and I respect it, right? But we're gonna wrap this up. But I'm gonna say this in closing, right? And y'all think about this until we get back together next week. Don't speak to the issue, right? Speak to the pain associated with that, right? Just think about that, right? All right. And we're gonna wrap this session up. I appreciate y'all doing this. See you next week, right? It's been another episode of Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Baker, and I say peace, y'all.
Peace.
I'm getting so tired.